Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Spawning in on the west side of the map, we've got 3DB playing in orange as the English. It's going to be going up against Vortix on the east side of the map, playing in blue as the Holy Roman Empire. Welcome to Mountain Clearing, a classic 1v1 match with some crazy happenings on this map. Often we've got plenty of deer to be pushed in, that's what Vortix is up to right now. And we've got the single sacred site in the middle of the map, which is often contested. Certainly is one of the potential winning conditions for both players. And two civilizations which are very strong on this map, in particular the English, which can get a fast longbowman rush out and early aggression, and also some very strong defensive capabilities when you factor in also with the network of castles bonuses that they can get with the outposts on the front line. And Vortix playing as the Holy Roman Empire with the really strong economy with the prelate boosting up the villagers' gather speed by 40%. Does mean that they'll be getting that eco up and running very quickly and chewing through that food. Let's just make sure, hopefully, for his sake, that he chews through well, because there's a lot of food to be had here. It can be often a fast castle map for the Holy Roman Empire, especially with this gold spawn. So, of course, with RTS games, you want to pay attention to your map generation. And with a back gold like this, that could be incredibly strong here for Vortix to get hold of this controlled. If you get controls of that, then, Castle Age could be very strong. But speaking of control, well, 3DB wants control of that gold vein. It's a bit of an awkward map spawn for him, because if the gold was actually on the front, well, there is one gold, but that's not the one he's taking. If he was having both golds on the front lines, then that would be problematic for him. But B, going to have to try and circumvent and go around, trying to harass that gold. But the gold is in there, 203 for Vortix to get to that feudal age. I suspect an outpost might be coming down on that gold vein. We shall see what he decides to do with 3DB applying a lot of pressure. What's interesting with this build for the English is you can often actually put down a forward council hall. In fact, he's going to be going for the lumber camp. Obviously, he can't really do too much more damage now. Going to focus on getting that food that he needs, the gold that he needs for the next stage. Does have two villagers on gold already there, 3DB. So everything else coming out will be coming out to food, especially with the villagers going out to wood there. About 5 of them. It does mean his feudal age is going to be relatively delayed. Arkan Chapel, landmark of choice for Vortix, already up and running almost. As in, it's going to be built very quickly with those 5 villagers. Once it does get up and running, plenty of food coming in super fast. But this is a position that Vortix will want to defend and push back, because there are 5 or so villagers. It could be potential for 3DB to actually drop down the forward council hall with these 5 villagers to get to the feudal age himself and apply some pressure. But we shall see what the response is for Vortix. He's got plenty of food that he can harvest to be able to get some horsemen out to counter those longbows, but we shall see if he decides to go for archers himself. And it's going to be a forward council hall right onto that cold vein, so B doing B things. And we're getting the outpost as well, which will get him that network of castles bonus as we discussed earlier. A 15% increase to attack speed, so a very aggressive opening for 3DB, which is kind of what we expect from him. But we do have a couple of minutes or so before that aggression really comes in. Hope you haven't missed me too much. I have been away a little bit from Age of Empires 4. I've been doing a lot of Stormgate content creation. I have missed it a little bit, Age of Empires 4, but the scene is a little bit of an awkward situation at the moment, I'd say. But fantastic game nonetheless, and especially from an observer's point of view, it's still a very fun game to watch. Because it is going to be a staple for Vortix to try and nullify the aggression coming in from the longbows. But do let me know if you enjoyed the content, and expect, hopefully, if you enjoy it and you want to see more, do let me know, because it's been a bit of a while. I do apologise for that, but I hope to be able to continue casting Age of Empires 4 for quite some time. Quite a few villagers here on wood now for 3DB, prepping the wood income he needs for those longbows to come out. Of course, the council hall does produce very fast, produces those archer range units and technologies now as well at 100%. Faster rate. The first horseman is out and about, already prowling around. I mean, does Vortix actually see this? That's the question. I mean, he should see this, right? Oh, he doesn't see it. He's got the outpost, but he doesn't actually see the council hall went there. And he'll spot it now. He's probably going to see where it can do some damage against his 5 villagers. The villagers are popping out to it. Oh, he spots the council hall now, so he's going to anticipate this aggression. He's got the prelate on the front lines trying to heal up, but he needs to be careful to save him. We'll be looking to burn down that outpost. There's 5 villagers there that could be taken out. Oh, the prelate does garrison inside that Arkan Chapel just in time. Nice micro there by Vortix. Going to be taking down that outpost, and there's 5 villagers there. That's going to be under a lot of pressure. It's actually a problematic situation for 3DB. Got up to the next stage a little bit too slow for his liking, you feel. And if he's going to lose these 5 villages, which he will, then he's going to be running into problems. Looks like an outpost will be going there for Vortix to defend that gold position. Trying to wall those villagers. Trying to get on the other side of it. Trying to get a gate as well. He needs the gate to be able to escape, but the horseman will track around. That's the problem for B right now. He's trying his best to save as many of the villagers as he can. Trying to get some quick walls down. He doesn't quite manage. Oh, he does. Holy smokes, he manages it. Oh no, he doesn't. The horseman's just blocking it. Okay, for a second there I thought he managed it, but he didn't quite. Vortix obviously not going to be taking the bait, and he's keeping one horseman on the other side. So a little bit of a playpen created here. B is no way of saving those 2 villagers. And he's going to continue to produce those longbows, but it's going to be a barracks needed and some spearmen, which he does produce them back at home. He's going to look to defend that wood line first, but losing these villagers early on is a pretty bad situation for 3DB. 20 villagers to 22, not factor in, of course, that the HRE prelate boost of 40% has been running since the beginning of the game there. Well, villagers on stone should be able to afford those emplacements. Doesn't look like it's going to be a second town centre. It looks like it's going to be more sort of emplacement related for those outposts. Boar was a source of food for 3DB, but has to pull that away, those villagers, because of the threat of the horsemen. And all of a sudden, things are looking bad here for 3DB. The production building forward, any units that pop out, pretty much going to be sniped very quickly. Interestingly, this does offer him a little bit of an avenue to attack from. Actually managed to save 1 villager. Very cheeky. In any case, the spear gets a good couple of hits on the horseman. I would be interested to see if Vortix decides to place down an archery range. It looks like, in fact, he's going to go for the Castle Age. So a Burgrev landmark would be very, very good for him here. If he gets that Burgrev Palace and gets those man-at-arms out, it does feel like it's going to be a bit over there for 3DB. You know, using that forward council hall is a very all-in strategy, especially if it's behind the base. He's got a couple of longbows and a spearman, but the trouble is these guys are pretty much pegged in here. They can't really make a quick escape. And that's what he's going to want to do once he sees that Burgrev Palace being placed down. That is indeed the case, the landmark of choice. Kind of expected it. And Vortix is going to double down on his advantage. Has a 3-villager lead, but also when you factor in 40% extra buffing. Because the Ark and Chapel is covering a lot. It's covering the gold, the food, everything he could want, really. And he's looking in great shape at the moment. 3DB's aggressive plan hasn't been working so far, but can he make something of it? That's the question. Start to move into the 8th minute of the game now. Longbow's constantly harassing. Does lose a horseman to the spearman. Another spearman charges in. B is doing pretty well to make the most of his units. And he will see the Burgrev Palace going down. Now that's the concern for him. He's of course nowhere near the Castle Age himself. Struggling on that economy side of things. 2 villages behind. Which after all actually is not the worst case scenario that he could have been in. Could have been a lot worse. Problem for him though, he's going to be an age behind. How does he deal with the Castle Age man-at-arms coming out for the Holy Roman Empire? That's the big question. It's very, very difficult to counter them. He would need a massive mass of longbows with a meat shield in front. Maybe his own feudal age man-at-arms just to buy himself some time. But it does look like time is against him. Because look at this. Vortix going to pump out these units. The only way really for B is to try and deny gold income. To try and deny production of man-at-arms, but they are starting to pop out now. These are the early man-at-arms. So he'll want to get that upgrade, and he is queuing it up now. Won't take long, about 5 seconds or so. And that's going to be a big problem now for 3DB. He's going to try and back away and try and run away with his army. He's got a bit of army near the council hall, but those 3 men-at-arms will be able to do a lot of damage. I think these man-at-arms pretty much win here, despite being totally outnumbered. Yeah, the amount of pierce armor that these guys have got is a bit insane. B reinforcing his army with the spearmen, with the longbows on the back line. I think Vortix wants to back away now. Doesn't quite have enough, but he will soon. The production capabilities for the Holy Roman Empire is certainly not a problem at this stage. Back at home, 3DB is continuing to get that wood income for longbows, but he's very far off way from his own Castle Age. And that's the problem with this situation with the Holy Roman Empire in the Castle Age. It's very difficult to deal with those men-at-arms. Trying to camp out on that council hall. What B will need to do is try and build up a static force, or a force rather, to try and buy himself some time to get to the next stage. A standing army, we'd call it. The trouble with that is that these men-at-arms, as they keep popping out, foring the queue, they're going to cause some problems. Equal villager count. The military lead is in the favour of 3DB, but don't forget it's a feudal age army versus a castle age army. You definitely want the castle age army in this scenario. Man's Arms of Vortix trying to get some damage. Got quite a few of them as well, actually, with 2 horsemen for the vision. But looks like Vortix is going to try and clear up the units that are hiding down the back lines for 3DB. Tries to make a mad dash away with it. Does get away with a couple. Still trying to apply some pressure though. Back on the wood line. 3DB going to have to back away. Heading into the 11th minute. He's going to be cut off wood. That is painful. Where do you go here if you're 3DB? That is the big question. Vortix in good control of this early game, and looks like the forward council hall for 3DB might not be working today. We shall see if he manages to hold on for now. Maybe the only possibility is if we can just hold out to try and get a massive army. Trouble is, he's always going to be fighting uphill with the feudal age army versus castle age army. He's going to try and stick it out. With these guys chomping away at their feet, it's going to be difficult. I wonder whether Vortix invests in blacksmith upgrades. Probably doesn't even need to in this case. Just continue to produce army, should be fine. Takes out the scout, vision will be a problem. Spearman trying to tank a little bit, but does drag away the army, trying to use the movement and kite a little bit, but this is just not enough longbows. The trouble for B, doesn't even have +1, doesn't have steeled arrow as an upgrade. Because of that, he's going to really struggle. The back lines, man-at-arms, they're clearing up units as they pop out of the council hall. They are popping out, so it's wasted resources there for 3B overall. Relying on stragglers because of the army for B is trying to hold off against man-at-arms, but there's a lot of them. Relying on melee versus melee, spearmen versus man-at-arms. A good thing for B, does have their network of castles bonus, fighting back at home. But the military numbers now starting to even out. That is a big problem for 3DB. Has got his army grouped together, which would be nice to try and push this back, but Vortix doing the same. He's also looking to get the fitted leatherwork melee armor upgrade for these units. They will be able to take a great fight against the spearmen if that happens. Already got a high PS armor, so it's all fine with that. He's gonna maybe just potentially dive underneath the town centre. A lot of the units do garrison inside. 3 of them don't make it in. Not enough space, and I think at this point Vortix just dives in. He's already got the iron undermesh upgrade rather. So PS armor even better. Villagers dying, going towards the woodline, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. 3DB taps out. He has no way back into the game, and well, Vortix, he clears him up on mountain clearing.